every time I come in the kitchen, you in the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Morning Dinner Podcast. It's your boy, Keem.
And Chuck, what up?
And we host the Morning Dinner Podcast, which is a podcast based out of Las Vegas where we sit down and have conversations with creators, entrepreneurs, and hustlers. Today, we got Nudia in the house.
Hey.
Nudia, how you doing? How's your day?
It's good. It's good. It's going good so far.
Yeah, you getting ready for tomorrow's show?
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a double tomorrow, which is nice because I don't have like a Valentine.
Nice.
But I'm making shmoney.
There you go.
That's the Valentine.
That's the Valentine.
What two shows are you doing tomorrow?
I'm doing a Galentine's Day brunch.
Oh, nice.
Over at Café Lola in Summerlin. And then right after, I have to run to Commonwealth to get ready for Cricket's Playhouse. So
okay, nice. Well, before we get before we get carried away, can you real quick just tell people who you are and what you do out here in Vegas?
Well, I'm Nudia. I'm a radio personality for 98.5 KLUC and Q100.5, and I also DJ, and I'm also a voiceover artist. So there's like a ton of stuff going on.
So this whole podcast is in the realm of your kind of what you do, right?
I feel really comfortable. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, when you're like, oh, are you used to wearing headphones? I'm like, I live my life like wearing headphones half the time. So
nice.
It feels, this comfy.
I have to ask, like, what was it that inspired you to decide to take a career choice path in like audio, either DJing or being a radio personality, all that?
I think it was, I always loved radio growing up. Like, I remember so many times where it was just, you're so into radio and you like get attached to the personalities and like, they're always fun and cool and they know what's going on and then they're giving away stuff for free. So you're like, oh my gosh. So I always just like loved radio. And then I went to college and I got into a broadcast program and I was like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to pick TV. But I kept getting in trouble because I would put music beds under my stories.
Nice.
And they're like, you can't do that. And I was like, but I want there to be music. Like, it's boring. And then I also like smiled too much. Yeah. And so like when I'd be on camera, like I just smiled, like it's natural for me. And then especially if I get nervous, like I smile even more. Yeah. So they're like, you can't smile all the time. And I'm like, what do you mean?
TV's more serious.
Yeah. So then so that's when I had always wanted to pursue my career in radio. And then I just switched from TV to radio. And my counselor, because I had to switch counselors. So my TV counselor's like, but you have so much talent. You're so talented. Yeah. I'm like, I know, but if I stuck with everything I was talented at, I wouldn't get anywhere because there's so many things.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
I'm just being funny, but so I've just always loved music. And then that kind of translates to DJing. Mm-hmm. And then I love talking. So that translates to voiceover work and stuff like that. So it was just kind of like a natural fit. I feel like if you have a personality where you like music and you like to talk a lot and you're super outgoing, it's like a perfect career, you know?
Yeah. I feel like there needs to be a platform, like a social media platform for voice.
You can only talk,
or maybe have like Instagram let you upload voice clips to your pictures or something like that. Because I feel like a lot of the social media world's been dominated by photo and video.
Visual?
You know what I mean? So like, but there's not really like, I remember there used to be this app called Voxer. Do you guys remember the Voxer app?
Oh, where you'd be able to send messages,
send voice messages. Yeah, because sometimes you don't want to talk, but you don't want to FaceTime. You just want to real quick just send a message that they can replay. You know? I mean, you could kind of do that in iMessage right now, but
it's
I'm saying like a social media
or like call someone on the phone.
Yeah, I guess it's if you don't want to do like a long talk, you're like, oh, I don't want to talk to this person.
Hey, who calls anybody on the phone anymore? Though? Like,
I know a lot of people that just don't answer their phone.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'll clear it up right now, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes we're afraid that's a debt collector right there.
Oh yeah.
If I don't have your phone number saved, man, I'm not answering your phone call.
I tell people if it's important, like you'll leave a message. You know what I mean? Like leave a message.
Who listens to their messages still? Though?
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
And low key, like if I got like 3 or 4 voicemails, if I'm sitting, I'm TMI. If I'm in the bathroom, I just pop up the phone and listen to them.
But the thing is, it transcribes, so you can see the actual.
Yeah,
so it's like, okay, I know what this is. Like
this is Teresa from the student loan.
I don't know the last person who's left me a voicemail. Like,
do you pick up all your calls though?
I don't get that many calls.
Oh,
you get text messages.
But I do talk on the phone a lot. I feel like I'm one of the few people who will like still talk on the phone a lot.
Yeah. I'll say this though, like I think there's been a big gap between like messaging on iMessage or like texting, and then also like your Instagram DMs. Like I'll check my Instagram DMs before I check my text messages. Is that something that you go through?
It's weird because now there's like so many forms of communication to where it's like you have like Facebook message, or I IG DM'd you, and then sometimes it'll end up in like your random IG DM folder, and then like you have your emails and your text, so you just have to, I feel like it's a lot of like pressure. You have to check everything all the time.
It sucks.
And it's just like, especially like I just started like actually doing gigs as a DJ, so this is my first time kind of being an entrepreneur. And I'm like, it's like it's work,
It is
for sure.
Like
social media is a full-time job if you're trying to make money off of it. 100%.
It's just like, you have to be in your emails, you have to be in your text messages, on your phone calls, and I'm just like, because the radio world, it's still pretty corporate. It's still, you clock in, you get your paychecks, you things like you have a schedule. But it's like, if you want to take 2 days off as an entrepreneur, that's great. But guess what? Like, at some point, you're going to have to make some money, And
then God forbid your story runs out because it only stays up for 24 hours. And then you realize, oh crap, why is a little plus sign next to my name? Like, I got to upload something.
Got to keep that engagement up.
Wait, so how long have you been at 98.5?
I've been there since last July.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at another station, Q100. No, Q106.9.
Okay.
I was at another radio station for 3 years here in Vegas.
Okay.
And there was like some stuff that happened, and then I decided it was time to make a change and go to the next place, like with more opportunities. And so I went over to KLUC, and then from there they decided to also put me on Q100.5, which is the throwback stations, because KLUC is pop.
Right.
So it's playing all your pop hits, and then Q plays all your R&B and hip hop throwbacks. Ooh. So it's really cool because I've gotten to expand my music knowledge, my music library. Yeah. And also it's kind of like different vibes. You get to kind of be like two different people a little bit, What's
your background in music? Like, what kind of music genre did you grow up listening to originally?
You know what? I grew up, and I've told people this. It's so funny. In my household, like a Sunday consisted of us sitting, like my whole family, me, my dad, my sister, myself. We would sit and we'd watch music videos. Like we had music videos on DVDs. Yeah. We had
on DVDs.
Yeah, on DVDs.
Damn.
We had Janet Jackson's whole music video collection. Yeah. Madonna, Mariah Carey, Beyonce, and we'd watch music videos. I didn't even
know you could buy music videos like that.
Yeah, no, they have their music video collections, and so I grew up in a super pop household, like super mainstream, like super, female pop music oriented. Yeah, I was like, I second guessed myself. I was like, that sounded a little weird. So my background in music is like super pop. That's kind of what I grew up on.
So like all the classics, Madonna and all that stuff.
Yeah, Michael Jackson, Prince.
Yeah, I grew up on Mexican music like that. What's that radio station? 103.5, the one that plays like all the Mexican jams, all the corridos.
Isn't there a few of them?
There's a couple.
Like some banda stuff.
Yeah, banda. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff. I on a Saturday, Sunday, you'd wake up and that music was blasting.
Yeah, that was my grandma that would do that.
And that means you got to get to clean or get out the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I grew up in a household.
Or get out the house. Get out the house.
How many people have you interviewed so far, like working for 98.5?
I've interviewed quite a couple. I'm putting out, we're releasing, me and Rob, One Track Mind. Okay. We are releasing a web series and social series, like with a few people that we've interviewed. Like some people in music, some people in like, some people of value, to the public. Right. And so we've gotten a few musical artists on there. We're doing Charli XCX this Friday.
Oh, nice.
She's going to be at Brooklyn Bowl. So my big thing is that interviews are usually pretty long.
Oh yeah.
You know, or you're really trying to find that moment, you know, like I see on your guys' Instagram, like you find that one, the golden moment where it's like, oh, that's going to pique people's interest and that's going to make them want to come and watch the whole interview. So my mentality, it's called Your Top 3. And my mentality when I made it, I was like, you know what? There's some times where we do shows or we're interviewing someone where like you're literally backstage. They're about to go on and perform at a concert.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask them 3 questions.
Yeah.
Like 3 random ass questions. And let's see, like, do you know, like what do you like? What's your favorite food to eat? Right. Like, do you eat like carne asada burritos? Like what you do, you know, like just things. And it's kind of funny because I did an interview with Steve Aoki. I was like, do you go to Whole Foods? You know? And he was like, honestly, I live in Henderson, so I'm always at the Whole Foods in Henderson. Oh, nice. And I was like, that's like funny, you know? So it's just like, besides those questions of like, so what are you working on? Or like,
it makes them a little bit more like human.
Yeah, because I feel like robot. If you're a fan, whoever's going to watch the content of that person is a fan, they've heard all the basic questions, you know, like, how'd you get your start in music? Or like, when and then tell me about this song. Tell me about this. So it's just like, it was kind of just like, what are some just like 3 random ass things about you that no one knows that would just be fun, you know, fun facts for people to know. So through that, I've gotten to interview a couple of people. And throughout my radio career, I've been really lucky and gotten really cool opportunities. I think my favorites are the ones that you interview before they blow up. Yeah. Because then they blow up and you're like,
who did you interview before they blew up?
Alessia Cara. Ooh. So I interviewed Alessia Cara.
It's Alessia, not Alicia.
No, Alessia.
Alessia, okay.
I interviewed her in 2015. She was doing Life is Beautiful. And she was one of those people at the ballot that you're like, who is this girl, you know? Yeah. And the record label really wanted to bring her by the station. And I remember we had to try to get people. They're like, she wants to do like an acoustic performance here. I was like, yeah, but no one knows who she is. Like, how am I going to get people here?
Do you want to do an acoustic performance in Vegas?
No, at our station.
Oh, at your station.
Yeah, at our station. So I was like, but you mean I have to like, we have to get people here. People don't even know who she is. Yeah. So I remember like you have to be creative. You have to twist it on the radio and like make it sound super exciting and exclusive. And so she came in our it was our lobby of our radio station with her guitar and she just performed and there's like 6 like little girls there. Yeah. They're just like, yay, you know? And so like she hadn't released Here, which was her first trending pop, her first big Billboard record hit, you know. So that hadn't even really it was getting traction, but it hadn't released yet. And so I did like a whole interview with her, and then after that she was just on fire, you know. Nice. She worked with Zed. Now she was on Logic's track, the Suicide track. Yep. And she's just like completely like she just like went crazy after that. But it's always fun to interview someone before they get big time. Yeah. Because you see, like, you kind of feel like you were there with them, you know, like you've made it with them and you feel like super happy for them. So those are my favorite type of interviews.
That's like, kind of dope. Yeah. Do the artists usually reach out to like the radio station, or like how does that work? Like, is it like your job? They're like, oh, all right, Nudia, you got to go out and hit up Kendrick Lamar because he's going to be in town. You know, like how does that work? Do they usually hit the station up? Or?
You know, there's different ways. So there's the record label reps. Okay. Will reach out to the radio station. Right. So those ones sometimes your boss will just come to you and be like, hey, you're interviewing Kendrick Lamar on Thursday. And you're just like, oh, okay.
And they give you like 2-3 days to prepare for it?
All right, yeah. So like they'll just come to you, or you'll see that an artist is in town and you'll be like, you go to your boss and be like, hey, like they're going to be in town. Like, can we get them in here? Like, I don't think they're that big to where they'd be like, no, you know? So like, can you reach out to the rep? What do you think? So, or you go through PR companies, or like really cool. Like once you really work on your career and you really have those connections, like I know some people that are cool with like, you know, that have known Chris Brown or Drake or someone forever since before they got big, and they'll just like hit him up and be like, hey, do you want to come by the station? They're like, sure. You know, so I mean,
send Chris Brown a text message
yeah,
real quick.
Like J. Cole really quick. So it's like, that's kind of the level as a personality you want to get. Ooh,
Shout out to
alarm,
Chuck.
where you gotta go.
The one
where
man.
you gotta go.
Gotta get out of here.
Yeah. He
Nah, we
just
good.
disappears. It's just you and me. Like he just
Like
slowly
shit. Oops.
fades
Sorry.
away.
For everybody listening to the audio only, Chuck's phone just went off. Interrupted the whole flow.
I wonder if it got caught by the mics.
It probably didn't
it did.
get. It probably didn't get caught. I was gonna say it didn't get catched. I don't think that's how you say it. But sorry. So you were talking about J. Cole.
What were we talking about?
You were text.
Oh no,
yeah.
no. No, I was just saying, as a personality, I think that's where you want to get to where you have
You can
your
just DM 'em.
contacts.
Yeah.
You've made really good with the record label reps or like this person. So that's always the goal, because I think like as a radio personality, like that's what people think of you. They're like, oh, so you're like, you meet a bunch of famous people and
Yeah.
you know, like you have the hookups on stuff. So I think that's like, you know, the goal of where you want to get to, like
Nice.
just like building. I think it's like any career where you build like your importance,
Your credibility.
yeah, because it's like just like it's very difficult because you're kind of disposable as a radio personality.
Really?
Like, well, I mean, everyone could talk, right? Everyone has a voice. It's a craft you have to work on.
I don't know though, because I listen to
Yeah.
you guys sometimes and I'm like, damn. Like, you know, we do this podcast, but I mess up so many times.
And
Like
I
look at
definitely would not want to listen to me.
Yeah.
They super
Yeah.
monotone.
You
And
have
like,
to have you have to have a voice that people
Yeah.
are enjoying listening to, right? So I don't think necessarily anybody can do it. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
No. But I'm saying, it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of the entertainment world. As to sometimes you could get fired and you don't even get a reason. It's just like,
Yeah.
we don't like you know?
Really?
Or it's like, we want someone else that's not you
Yeah. Like
just a
on
change
here
of
now,
pace.
you know? And so I think like throughout your whole radio career, you're constantly building your worth.
Yeah.
You're building your credibility.
Right.
And you're really backing yourself as a talent, because you're a talent, you know?
right, you're an actual public figure.
Yeah. And
You're no longer just an employee at a company. You need to branch out and build your brand as a radio person.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so it's definitely one of those things where, I mean, you want to get to the Ryan Seacrest level, the Carson Daly level, the kind of
Yeah.
like the guys that are kind of a little bit more untouchable, you know?
Right.
And so, so I think, yeah, it's kind of cool to see everyone's journey, and the radio community is like super supportive of each
Yeah.
other and stuff. And like, we're all nerds, like all radio people, we're radio nerds. Like we all geek out over each other's stuff, and we're like, oh, you know? So, it's a super fun career, and it's just like, it's pretty funny because, sometimes I'll be in the studio and be like, I talk for a living. Like I just like say words for a living, you know? Yeah. It's a lot.
That would be tricky, because if you think about it, you know, like if you're a photographer and you're taking photos for a living, like someone's literally paying you to take photos, and then you have a family member go, take my photo. You're like, I don't know about that. Should I charge? You know what I mean? Like, do you ever go to somebody like, hey man, I'll have a conversation with you, but it's gonna cost you about $20.
You know what's funny? Like I think about this moment sometimes, and like I'll laugh. I like people who like see me around town must think I'm crazy sometimes, because I'll just like start laughing. I'll think of something, I'll just like laugh out loud, like, and I'll be like, I'm like. And I'll just like and then I'm laughing now because I'm laughing at myself in public.
Yeah.
And so, but one time I remember one of my ex boyfriends, we got drunk and we were like kind of like picking on each other.
Here we go, good story time.
Yeah, no, this is great. So, so we were arguing and we're picking on each other, and then he's like, "You just talk too much." I was like, "Listen, they pay me to talk. Does anyone pay you to talk?" So I got like feisty because I was like, "Does anyone pay you to talk?" He's like, "Well, could they pay you to stop?"
Damn.
And I was like, I had to laugh. Like I was like, you can't even get mad. That was a great comeback.
When somebody got you, they got you.
But I did dump him the next day. So.
Damn.
Oh, shit.
So she got the ultimate comeback. That's crazy.
It was an unrelated issue, but I always remember that. I was like, he did not just do that. So so it's kind of funny.
That's good you could laugh about it though.
See,
But I
that's
think
what
it's
I
hilarious.
like. I like it when people don't take themselves too seriously, because then you have so much room to just, to have a good time. You know what I mean? Because when people take them seriously, you're like worried about, oh, am I going to offend you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I think if something's funny, it's like if you get burned in the process, it's like But I mean, come on, you have to admit when someone throws you on a good
when somebody gets you, they get you.
Yeah.
How does somebody even go about like getting a job at like a radio station? Like, what credentials does somebody need to have, or is it just like a is there like an audition for it, or is it like
everyone has a different path, and I think maybe you guys learned this from doing the podcast, is that a lot of people will just be like, oh, I want to do it, and it's like it's not that easy talking like your normal self. It's not, because you think like, oh, I just talk and I sound like me and that's it. You're like, no, it's like you don't sound like you. Like, I have old air checks from when I was in college. I was just like, hi. Calvin Harris is up next.
Those awkward pauses.
Leo FM.
That's how I'd be if I was doing the radio.
Yeah, like you quiet. You just like I know I don't sound anything like how I sound now. Like, so it takes time to like sound like yourself, and it takes time to like be yourself on the mic, like on a microphone. Yeah. And so what was the question? Oh, what do you have to do? Okay, there's a couple, like everyone has their own journey. Like, some people be like, oh, I just fell into it. Or what does that
even mean? Oh, I just walked into 98.5 one day. The door was open.
Yeah, like,
there was an empty chair.
It's your job.
Like, those kind of people, just like I mean, no one really annoys me, but it's just like, come on, because I did not fall into this at all. Like, it was crazy how much work I had to put into this.
I like a little bit of struggle.
Yeah, no, because sometimes not everyone needs to get a degree in broadcast or communication or whatever. Some people, they'll start on the promotions team, which is like, the people that stand under the tent and at the van hits and stuff. So people will start there and work their way up and stuff. I went to school. I kind of did both. I went to college at the University of Laverne, and they're one of the few programs that actually has a radio program in their communication, field. So they have like a good TV program, great radio program. And then from there, I had 2 jobs at 2 different radio stations. So one of them was close to my house, and I was doing everything like production, on the street team. It's hot. You're out there under the tent. It's not Vegas hot, but it's California hot. Yeah. Like you're putting all the hard work, putting up speakers and stuff like that, and like playing music and like giving out t-shirts like on the streets. You're part of the street team. And then the other one, because I really wanted to be on air, and I was like, well, they don't have any openings here, so I'm gonna go somewhere else. And so Palm Springs, it was 70 miles from my house. So I would drive on Saturdays and Sundays. I remember my show was from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I would drive on the weekends.
You drove from Vegas to Palm Springs?
No, California. This
I was gonna say, like, that's a lot more than 70 miles.
Yeah, I was like, damn, 70 miles.
No, I don't.
Still, 70 miles.
I don't know how I do it if I'd been raised out here, but
I work a mile away and I still show up 20 minutes late. Damn.
Yeah, no. So I was a full-time college student. I had a job at the local radio station, 981 KGGI. Then I had my weekend show that I would commute for on the weekends. And then I also had a campus job. And my campus job, I hated it. I was so good at it though. So you call up alumni and you ask for donations for the school.
Okay.
And I hated it. I hate asking people for money. It's not my thing. Yeah. And so,
but you were good at it?
Yeah, because I was good at it though, because I finessed the hell out of that job. So they gave you like a script. So you used to have to follow a script, and it's like you have to ask the person 4 times for 4 different like amounts of money.
There goes that man.
Where do you gotta be?
Bro,
I
just
don't know.
silence the phone.
I know.
Just silence.
Bro,
it's your
the
alarm
alarms
clock.
are going through.
Hold on, this man's alarm just went off at 7 o'clock at night.
You got a date?
No, I think
You got a date? I mean, your shirt's looking kind of crisp.
You like it?
Where you go?
I think I was sleeping one day and I forgot to turn off these alarms because I have
You
them
have
set
4
for every day.
alarms?
I have 4 too. One at 6:30, one at 6:45, one at 7, one at 7:15.
Yeah, I said so many.
Yeah. Well, just you
I don't
gotta,
know.
if you
I think I went to
know
snooze
yourself,
mode.
you know yourself when you know you're gonna get up or
You know,
not.
I'm a light
You know what I mean?
sleeper.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's just like anything. I'm like,
She said,
Nah, see, look, I got an alarm on my phone, and then I have one on my Alexa. too. So in case my phone, like in case I fall asleep on top of my phone and I can't hear the speaker, I gotta back up.
you know, it's funny. Did you guys see my my phone? I went to Travis Scott. My phone got completely destroyed.
Ooh.
Like the front got completely shattered.
Did not
So
see
I
that.
didn't have a phone for 3 days. So I set my tablet alarm clock
Yeah.
and I slept through it. And I had to be at the radio station at 6 a.m. And I showed up like 6:10.
Dang.
oh, that's not too bad.
What kind of hold on?
Damn.
So let me ask you that: you have a specific time at the radio? That you have to be at the radio station, right?
Yeah.
If you don't show up on time, what happens?
Well, KLUC is manned by someone 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So some radio stations, like they'll go into programming or they'll just go into auto for overnight or however, but that radio station in particular, there's someone there on air 24/7,
Like one
in that
guy,
chair.
or like they rotate.
We all rotate. we all rotate. But there's someone in that chair,
Yeah.
24 hours a day.
Right.
So the person that was on before me, Gianni, thank you so much. He had to wait for me to get there.
Ah, okay.
But he was calling me and texting me, but I didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
I pulled over at a gas station. I tried to call him at the station on a gas station phone. It was like a hot mess. But basically, like the thing about radio, though, like a normal job, you could call out or something.
Yeah.
Like you can't really call out unless you have someone to cover, because it's like we need someone
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
who's gonna be here if it's not you? You know. So you're not just like, I feel like calling in sick today. But I mean, a lot of us will get sick or will like kind of lose our voices.
Yeah.
And still show up to work, and it's just a hot mess because you could hear it.
The raspiness.
You could hear it on
See,
the radio.
okay, so that's another thing is like I was gonna ask, if your voice is sick and you can clearly hear it, do you guys still go on the air? Do you guys still like record and
Most of us will try to pull through. You'll listen, you'll be able to tell, you like, dang, that girl's sick. But she's still there.
powering through it,
She's
yeah.
still
Like, respect.
like you'll be like, hi guys, like you'll just, what were we talking about before? My
conferring.
campus job.
There we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Your
That was-
alarm would segue into a whole nother thing.
then I had to like call people and ask for donations. So we had a whole script we had to follow. You had to start with this amount, then ask them for a lower amount and go down 4 times. And so I didn't do any of that. So I would just have a conversation and be like, we're doing a drive right now for money, and we're wondering if you would really like to help the students here. And I was like, I remember I would practice my radio voice. I was like, it was all practice for me.
Yeah.
And people would just like give me money. I remember this one lady's like, yeah, I think I'm gonna give you like $5,000 tonight.
Damn.
And I was like,
What? Damn.
thank you so much for that donation tonight.
Gotta keep it cool.
Expiration date. Like, and the 3 on the back of the card, so I was like, I would like won all these awards, and they like promoted me and stuff on campus. And like I remember my supervisor was like, have you thought about doing this as like a career? Like, you'd be great. And I was just like, I hate this job.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I don't want to telemarket for money, right? Is that kind of where your mind was at? Like you didn't want to, you don't want a job as a cold caller / telemarketer?
I just knew that I wanted to do radio. I was like, that's what I'm going to school for. That's what I want to do. And it's like such a fun industry, and it's like it's fun because you're a part of the entertainment industry, but you're also not like super heavily, like you don't have to deal with a lot of the bad stuff. I feel like you get to be a part of all the fun stuff, like the concerts and the interviews and the parties, but yeah, so was that the question?
Yeah.
I'm like,
pretty much.
I'm like, I don't know.
Wait, so pretty much you said you went to college for broadcasting, and what was it called again? Just broadcasting?
Yeah, no. So my degree, I went to the University of Laverne. So my degree is in communication, and then I have a concentration in radio broadcasting.
Okay. I was going to ask you, what was your least favorite part about going to college, period, for this? Like, was there any part, like where you're like, okay, this is boring?
I think, you know what? And when you get a degree in communication, you kind of have to take like PR and a TV class. And so you have to take all the different dissects of communication that they had there. And so so we had to take like PR classes, but I think the part I just didn't, we had to take a journalism class.
There we go.
And so
that's the part.
So I was just like, it's all about facts and citing your sources.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, no, I just want to talk. Like, I don't want to like handle serious stuff, you know. I want to talk about fun stuff. And so me and my journalism teacher did not get along at all. So because I was the exact opposite. Like, she's super serious, super into it. So I would do stuff like on purpose. Like, we would have like stories, and I would do like pop culture stories. When she wanted like hard news stories.
But you were more about the entertainment aspect of it. Right? Not so much the we're here on the scene of
hard,
you know what I mean? Like,
the hard news side, which is important, which I know a lot of friends that are great broadcast journalists, and they're great TV reporters, and they're great, but it's just like that wasn't like my thing or what I was trying to do. So me and the teacher never got along.
So you were doing college, and then you said you were driving to Palm Springs
on the weekend for my weekend show. So that was my first on-air job. So it's always like, it holds a little, like every time I hear Palm Springs, it holds a little special place in my heart, because like that was the first place where I was on the radio, you know. And so that's kind of where I got like my first little break. And then from there, you know, I was doing my weekend show, and then had the other station, and then my part-time job on campus, and that was still full-time in school, taking classes. So I did not like sleep or party or any like, college was like work, because I knew, you know, like people were like trying to get me to go be in their sorority and all the dance teams.
Were you ever in any sorority?
No, because I knew I didn't have time. I was like, I don't have time to breathe. Like literally, I think I would just like go home, and my parents never saw me in college. I would sleep at some people's dorms, because I was like I have to be in class in 5 hours. Could I just sleep here, you know? And so
that's how you know it was your passion, though.
It was a hustle, and like I had a goal, and I was like, you know what? My goal is, by the time I graduate college, like I don't want to be one of these people that graduate and then they're like, well, time to look for a job. Like, I want to have my foot in the industry while I'm in college, while it's cute. Because I feel like when you're a college student, it's still cute. You know, you're like, I'm in college and I want to learn. And people are like, oh, a little college student, you know? And then you graduate and it's like, well, you're an adult now. You're not in school anymore. So I wanted to take advantage of the fact that I was still in college, and really just like do as much as I could while I was still in school. And the day I remember I had this game plan. So then near the end of my senior year in college, I was like, you know what? I've always wanted to DJ. And I was like, I would DJ at home. I had like virtual DJ. Did you really? Okay, so I'd play around with virtual DJ and like some of my friends' controllers, and like I knew some DJs, and then working in radio, I knew a bunch of DJs. And so I was like, you know what? I always wanted to do it. And then my mom's like, no, you're going to DJ when you're 21. I was like, why? She's like, because you're going to go to the club and you're going to drink. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so then when I was finishing up my senior year, I was like, well, I'm going to graduate. What's going to happen then? I was like, I'm going to keep applying for jobs, because basically the way that if you want to be a TV personality or a radio personality, you're going to have to move. Like, you could stay in the same place. Maybe something will happen, but odds are is that, especially if you are like in the LA area, like that's the number 2 market in the nation.
Oh, really? Damn.
Yeah. So New York's number 1, LA's number 2, and Chicago's number 3. So basically it goes by population. So however big your city is, that's how many people are listening. And that's where people want to be. People want their voice to be heard in New York. They want to be heard in Chicago. And also that's where all the stars are stopping by. That's where people are giving the interviews, because that's like the big population cities. So you're going to have to move to a smaller town and get your start somewhere else. You're going to have to like start, you know, in in, I don't know, a small town in Idaho. Like, you know, like you're gonna have to start in a small town in Colorado, you know, like you're going to have to go somewhere where someone's willing to put you on the air while you're still green so that you could build your skills. So I was applying to places, but I actually had a barrier.
Yeah, you had a map. Like, I'm not willing to travel outside of this area.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I'll go up north. Like, I'll go Bakersfield, Fresno. And I was like, I'd go that way a little. Like, maybe the furthest I'd go is like, you know, Arizona, Nevada. And so I never thought I was going to be in Vegas, though. Yeah. So, and at that time, I was actually engaged. So I had my family in California. I was engaged, and I was just like, well, I can't, like, go anywhere, you know, Miami, Florida. I was like, I want to be in like driving distance, you know, like I want to be somewhere close. And so that kind of put some pressure on me too. And then the day after graduation, I got the call to come to Vegas. And I had actually been in DJ school. I enrolled in Scratch Academy out in LA.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And
what is Scratch Academy? That's
it's a DJ school.
You learn to DJ?
You learn to DJ.
Oh, I didn't know there was.
But do they teach you with like techniques or CDJs?
Yeah, they taught me on. They teach you on vinyl. So it was like a really it was a great program because they taught you like first couple of weeks you're just counting music. You don't even really get to mix anything. You're learning like timbre and beats and bars and like you know like you're just counting music and
as a DJ.
How long did you do that for?
The program's like a few months long, and I think I was there for like 6 weeks because then I graduated, and the day after graduation I got the call to come to Vegas. Nice. And I didn't even finish the program because I was like, I love y'all, but I'm going to Vegas. Bye. And so like, you know, they brought me out for an audition. And they're like, yes, you want to come? And I remember I was like, yeah, I'll be here in 2 weeks. And I called my mom on the drive back home to Cali, and I was like, well, I gotta be there in 2 weeks. And she started freaking. She's like, Nudia, like, you need to like have a place to live. I was like, we'll figure it out. It'll be fine. You know, like pack up all my stuff. So I moved here to Vegas. I knew like one person, and I just moved here to be on the radio for my job.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was kind of crazy, but honestly, it's one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Because they always tell you in school, they're like, move somewhere, like go out there, get those opportunities that are farther, maybe not as desired as being on the air in LA, and really like work on your skill, work on your craft, build yourself so that by the time you get to LA, you're ready, you're
prepared, and
you're refined, and you've already like kind of know what your thing is as a personality. Because I feel like as a personality, some people are really cool on air. Yeah. Some people are really sexy, you know. Some people are funny, you know. Some people are just trolls. It's like you have to find your thing, and that all starts with like knowing who you are. Right. Like, who are you? Like, what angle do you have to bring to a show or, you know, a city? And so when you're out here with yourself, like I moved into a place by myself, I spent like so much time with myself, and you kind of find out like who you are a little bit more, and it helps you, you know, like work on your craft. Right. And so I kind of put DJing on the back burner though after that, because I didn't finish the DJ program at Scratch Academy. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I'm just going to focus on radio. Like, this is my first big break, my first full-time show, being on air every single day of the week, not just the weekends, you know, because that's different. Like, if you're a part-timer on the weekends or if you are on every day, like, you're going to get better when you're on every day, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I fully engulfed myself in that. And then I kind of started to miss DJing. I just miss, like, you know, I kind of wanted more. And then I realized, you know, if you want to build your brand and you want to, you know, make moves and you want to like make money, you know, you can't just always rely on one thing, you know? So it's like, if I was to only rely on radio, yeah, maybe sure one day I can make $1 million a year, like as a salary. Yeah. Is that possible? Yes. Mm-hmm. Will it take a lot of time and a lot of work? Yes. So it's like, but you're also building it to where it's like, well, what if I have like, now I'm doing two things. Now I'm doing radio and I'm DJing. Mm-hmm. That not only builds my bank account, but it also builds my credentials. Like, I'm meeting more people in the city. Mm-hmm. More people know who I am. I'm more valuable to the radio station now, you know?
Right.
So,
Plus, if you form a really good friendship or relationship with an artist or somebody that comes to your town a lot, no matter where you go, they're most likely traveling too, right? So you'll see them often, and like you said, maybe one day you'll just have to hit them up in a text message like, "Hey, do you want to do an interview here?"
Yeah.
And maybe you're working maybe you're working on the other side of the country. And you're interviewing that same person or for that radio station. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing that doesn't just stay in one city. And especially when you moved out to Vegas, you were by yourself, right?
yeah, I was by myself.
So you had no family out here.
No family.
Just a friend.
Yeah, just one boring friend.
Oh.
So it wasn't even like, girl, let me take you out on the town. We're going to meet some people. Like, no, she just like stayed in her house. So I was like, man, like, so I think the first few, and that's why anyone who like first moves here, I'm like, give it a year. Give it a year. Like, stick it out for that year, because the beginning was really tough. Like, it was really, really tough. And then, luckily the station, because a lot of stations now, they're in clusters, so that's why I'm on 2 radio stations, because that is Intercom Las Vegas, and so Intercom Las Vegas has a few radio stations in the building.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so it's cool because those are your coworkers. It's kind of weird because sometimes they're your competition too, but they're also your coworkers, and
Right.
it's cool to be cool with them.
Wait, so Intercom Las Vegas is what?
Is it like a conglomerate almost of all the other? I don't want to say that word because it's so massive, but they basically own all the like multiple radio stations.
They own a few in town, and so there's like there's Intercom, and then there's other radio companies that own a couple. Usually all the radio stations, they have sister stations, so they own a couple. Like everyone, like no one's like, oh, I just own this one station. This is my little
That's
station.
what I thought.
No. They're all owned by like companies who own a couple of them, and are owned by different people.
Different states as well, or just
different
strictly?
states. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So like Intercom is nationwide. It's like one of the big companies. So what's kind of cool is that if I want to go to Intercom, Nebraska, if I want to go to Intercom New York, if I want to go to Intercom
You can get
Miami,
transferred.
you could work within the company, which is like, because a big topic in radio has been like corporations. And like, because, before, back in the day, it was kind of that thing where it's like every radio station's different. It's all owned by different people. But then now that there's like a couple of corporations that own most of the radio business, some people, it has its downsides and its upsides. One of the upsides is that, you could move a little bit easier inside because you're already in the company.
Right, you're in a network now. Now you have the ability to move somewhere or do something different or kind of there's room to grow. Yeah, is essentially what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So,
but what's one of the downsides?
I think the downsides is like probably like syndication. Now people could voice track. You don't need someone in the seat 24/7. Like I said, KLUC is in the seat 24/7, but some stations, like, it's all voice tracked. It's all pre-recorded. People.
But do you still have to go into work and voice record and everything? So it's like the same thing?
I think you have to go in, but I mean, you'll do a 5-hour show in like half an hour, basically. Oh, wow. Because you'll just knock it out. You're just doing your talk breaks and then you're done, So I think, a lot of people would say that, that's kind of like been the downside, is that sometimes maybe the person that's on after me is voice tracked in New York, and they just recorded all their breaks in New York and they just sent them over, and then that's a whole show. So it's just like,
I didn't even know that was a thing that they could do.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, you could do a lot now. So
yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. We're doing a podcast out of my kitchen, right? Like,
that's true.
So it's like realistically, we don't have to be in a fancy studio. But I mean, I don't know. I guess one of my other questions was going to be, do you guys do everything live, or is there stuff that's pre-recorded, or like, so I had a friend, right? And she's like, and I told her, cause I heard a lot of it was pre-recorded, not specifically for 98.5 or whatever, but like there's a lot of radio stations that was pre-recorded. Like you said, they do them in voice track, right? And she asked me, well, what about the people that call in? What, that can't be recorded because they have to record, can you speak a little bit more to that?
Winners winners are real, first of all.
Yeah. 100%.
And so, but I think I'm trying to, I know that sometimes if someone is voice tracked, you'll have like a phone operator or a board op who will get a winner for the person. I mean, I'm not completely, I've never really done it, but you'll still get a winner. You'll still get a winner in there. Sometimes they'll just be like, caller number so you're winning, and then like the person who's actually there, you know, who's maybe not the talent, they'll be like just, you know, a little part-timer trying to earn their stripes. They'll like cut up the phone call and like play the call. The person be like, woohoo. Right. So it's kind of easy because someone could make a shell. Like, let's say I'm voice tracking, right? And you're in the studio and you're you know, getting your little hours in, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, hey, it's 98.5. Who's this? And then it'll be a shell of me saying that. And I'll be like, congrats, you just won tickets to go see Gwen Stefani.
Wow.
And they're like, all right, thanks for listening to 98.5 KLUC. Right. And so I give you that bed. Right. And you put in the winner of me going, my name's Nichelle. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love you guys.
Oh,
you know?
My God. I didn't know you could do that.
As a little radio magic, you know?
Learning so much, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've always dabbled in video, photo, and audio, and we know there's always an edit. There's always an edit to do, right? Yeah. But I didn't know, because when I used to be a kid and I listened to the radio like every day, and I would hear somebody win something, like it all sounded too perfect. Yeah. First of all, it sounded live as hell because you were listening to it like, oh, somebody just called in. Like it sounded like a phone call. And then everything just from when they talked to when the radio personality took over to when the music came in. Like,
they were laughing. Like, bro, they were making jokes.
I'm like, there's no way this can be like, this has to be scripted.
Well, no, you know what I mean? It won't be scripted, but you could cut it because real conversations are awkward.
Oh yeah,
you know, like real talking.
Just listen to the Morning Dinner podcast.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's awkward. Like, you know, there's pauses and there's mistakes. There's I'm blah 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 blah. You know, there's that stuff that's going on. Yeah. So we'll record a call and then you'll cut it up to sound perfect. You know, so that there's no like, what if she doesn't hear you and she's like, what? Did I win? It's like yeah,
it's super boring.
You won. Yay! I'll be like, okay, look, can you sound like can you give me a little bit of something to work with, girl? Give me a little something. I'll be like, okay, can you give me a woohoo? Perfect. Thank you. I'll get your information right now, you know? Right. And so,
and that's not done like on air, like as
no,
somebody's listening.
So I'll cut it up and I'll make it sound I'll be like, hey, you won. Woohoo. Boom, you know? And so it's kind of like, you know, we call it like radio magic, you know? And so you put a little like radio magic in there, you know? Right. Make it sound good.
Well, I kind of like already kind of knew the answers to some of these questions, but I feel like a lot of people don't know this stuff, and I wanted to kind of like get an explanation of it from somebody who's not like.
Yeah, my boss is gonna send me an email and be like, "So you giving out trade secrets?"
Nah, because I knew, and I'm not in radio, but I've been around artists who have gone to like 97 or 98.5, and then I see they have software loaded up and it's like, you know, they're editing and things like that. And so I kind of already knew, and I'm not even in that industry. So I'm pretty sure other people knew too, but it's
good to go over it. Now, one thing I want to ask, like going back to like when you came here and like, you were still learning how to speak and all that. Like, how did you train yourself? Like, were you like listening to yourself and you just kept like being like, okay, I got to do this next time. Like, how do you do that? How do you get better?
The formatics kind of. It's called air checking. So you'll listen to your show, which is really it's actually really nerve-wracking to have to sit there and listen to yourself, because you'll try to be funny or you'll be like, man, that really wasn't cringy. That funny. You know, it's just like, I'm trying to be cool. That really didn't sound that cool. So you honestly have to listen to yourself and you have to figure out what you could do better. You're like, you know what? I'm using too many words. I could say, instead of saying all this that took me like 3 sentences, I could have said this, this, and this. And then you go in the next day and you try to do it that way, you know? So you to get better, you have to listen to yourself and you have to critique yourself. Yeah. And you have to like think of like how you could sound better. And also for me, I was listening to a lot of people who are in the industry and who sounded good, and like what works for them, what do they say, like what do I like that they do that I could try doing, you know, to make myself sound better. So
do you have like a cool auditor, like somebody sitting over your shoulder going, okay, Nudia, that was cool, or going, now you gotta try that again?
Like, do we have someone? I mean, I have a boss.
Wait, so like everything that you work on, does it have to get approved before it goes live, or like how does that work?
Well, like I have to get everything approved before I say it.
Right.
No, I don't have that. But
okay.
But I mean, if you really mess up, you'll get. We have program directors and they run the station. So I mean, and my like PD's always listening. So if I ever say anything that's like too bad, maybe like one day he'll be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't, maybe we could not say that,
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, I mean, you really have to like say something kind of crazy to get in trouble,
Right. Because I work at a job right now that there's a lot of like legal red tape where like, even if you're writing an email to like somebody who's like a director, like you have to be careful how you say things. Like maybe you're not saying something that's necessarily bad, but there's a better way to say, you know what I mean? Like you got to tiptoe around. So like, I just wonder if that's something that you kind of sometimes have to battle or kind of like like, conflict with somebody who's like, oh, well, that's actually, there's nothing wrong about what I just said, or,
Oh, like if there's conflict or like conflict of interest or something.
Yeah.
I think one time I did it like in a couple times where I wanted to say something about Mark Ronson having his residency over at On the Record, because we're playing his song with Miley.
Nice.
And so I think the first time I said it, I didn't like the way I said it. Like I used like too many words or something, and I was like, you know what, it would sound better if I said it like this. So I tried to say it again like that, and I think like maybe like a week later I try to do the same thing, and then you have air checks with your boss. So like I told you, you sit there and you listen to yourself with your boss,
with the boss though?
And you guys are looking at each other, and you're just like. And it's the worst because sometimes you'll try to be funny. Sometimes I like laugh at myself on air, and he's just like, well,
that didn't work.
And so it's not like, it's very rare that your boss is gonna think that you're funny. Like even if you do say, like, you guys are there like to critique it. So those never get easier to do because I've been doing those my entire career, and I still get nervous going into them, and I still don't want to sit there and listen to my voice, and so So he was like, yeah, I did hear you do this Mark Ronson, like this intro into this Mark Ronson song, and you kept mentioning that he was going to be out On the Record, and it kind of sounded like an ad. He's like, it kind of sounded like, I know that's not what you're doing, but you did it like a couple times. I was like, like I was trying to perfect it. I was trying to make it sound better. And so sometimes your boss will hear things, and they'll try to help you fix it, or like they don't like it, and so
that's kind of cool to have that second layer of like critique, and kind of like outside of yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I know, like, if I hate listening to myself, man.
See, I love what, because Keem's very good at speaking, and I think he watches way more podcasts than me. Like, I am not good at batting back with like speaking to somebody. Like, I'm not good.
I love podcasts.
I'm like,
I was gonna be like, we can do that whole thing.
No, I can't. Are you into ASMR?
Yeah, I mean,
I just recently started looking at dog ASMR where they're like eating their food.
Yeah, it's so cute. Like, I sent it, and it's just like dogs eating like carrots and stuff, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, I love podcasts too. I just love audio. I like that I could just listen to something without having to look at it.
What's a podcast do you listen to?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have one that you like to listen to?
I love My Favorite Murder.
My Favorite Murder?
My Favorite Murder.
Is that like a murder podcast where you like almost like serial?
It's actually
like
comedy. Okay, I'm obsessed with true crime.
Okay.
Like, honestly, like, to go to, like, before I go, I know I shouldn't, but before I go to bed, I'll like watch 2020 on Hulu and be like, they'll be like, they found she was stabbed 23 times. I'm just in bed. I'm like,
you're like, yes.
And they're like, like the crime scene was so bloody, and I'll just be like,
you're like,
drinking some water, just like with my cats in my bed, so it's just like, it's so weird.
South Park had an episode on that, bro. Like, for some reason adults love murder stuff.
Yeah, I love true crime. I don't know what it is, but like, people, if you spent a day with me, you'd be like, oh, that's a little
and
weird.
It's not about the murdering part, it's more just like how they got away with it, or what the whole scenario was, or
it's I think for me it's the shock factor of like someone that like could do this.
Whoa.
Like, you know what I always...
I never got that deep.
Took it to another level.
No, you know what I always think about? Okay, this is like, I don't know. This is about what I always think about is like, okay, you're married, you got your wife, right?
Yeah.
She's the mom. She cooks you like omelets in the morning.
Yeah, kids.
She's your ride or die.
Right.
You've known her for like 20 years. You're like, okay, this is my girl. Like, she cool. And then like you're sleeping and she's like starts stabbing you. Like before, how shocking would that be to be like,
I don't like thinking like that. That's too scary.
Like I think about it, like
crazy.
what so I think that's a factor of just like some people that have done crazy things where it's like what are the warning signs? What do you need to look out for? What do you like do in the situation? Like,
I don't know. Like we talked about this too. Remember that one guy? There was a story that I was looking at one time, and apparently there was this guy who committed himself to like a mental health facility because he I don't know, I forgot the story exactly, but he like hit the ground with his head and he hit himself really hard to the point where like all of a sudden he was in a coma for like 2 or 3 days, came out, and then he all of a sudden had this fascination for little kids. You know, like
really?
A sexual fascination,
like a pedophile.
Yeah, pedophilia like intentions, and he noticed that, and there's something wrong with me. Like when he hit his head, something snapped, or was it the other way around where he cured himself?
I think you said something
by hitting himself.
Oh no. Like
he was not a pedophile after he hit his head.
It was around that realm. Like I'm
Yeah.
saying, like like where sometimes it is that trigger of like. All of a sudden, there's a chemical imbalance in your brain, and boom!
Exactly.
Now you like hot dogs. Now you don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I also love this podcast called Snap Judgment. It's a part of NPR. So it's just real stories, like real and I love storytelling podcasts.
Yeah,
I love true crime podcasts. I'm obsessed with it.
Did you ever watch the Black Tapes?
No,
I think they're NPR too.
Really?
It's a scary story.
Hey, real quick, what's NPR?
And I don't know.
National Public Radio.
There we go. Boom.
Okay.
NPR.
Yeah.
I just noticed because the ads. This show is brought to you by NPR and something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Do.
Yeah.
And then
So
the music.
It's called Snap Judgment. So it's a storytelling podcast. But in one of them, like this lady, she got into a car accident, I believe, and she got out of a coma, and she had a French accent.
What?
Yeah, she had a French accent, and I guess I forgot. It's like a real thing.
Damn.
Like it's a real like symptom or illness. I don't know what it is.
That would be a cool scenario. Like,
Yeah, I'm
you
down.
get hit in the head, and oh, dude, I can motorbike now.
But like,
Holy shit.
I
can
about to say
cook.
motorboat.
I can cook, bro. Like,
I
you
can
know what I mean?
motorboat now.
I was gonna say, I was like, motor what?
Motorbike is it? Oh, that's what you guys were
Yeah,
laughing at.
I was laughing.
I thought you guys
at,
were laughing at the joke.
I totally thought motorboat
Yeah.
was gonna come out of your mouth. Like I was,
But I'm saying, like, imagine you hit your head and then like,
and
oh,
you wake
now
up and something's
the-
crazy.
I can cook like a chef now. You know what I mean? Like,
Isn't there like movies like where people
There are a lot of movies
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
like where somebody
it?
hits their head and they get like super smart? And I think it's happened before. Like people will learn how to like memorize better when they hit their head a certain way.
I'd be tripping though. Like, imagine like if you hit your head, bro, and all of a sudden
Spanish.
you're the fastest rapper alive.
Oh.
Like, with a great,
you say
I
Spanish?
speak Spanish. Sorry.
no, but I'm saying like imagine you
Sorry.
could rap. You're the fastest rapper, very articulate with your words, and everybody can hear everything.
I wish you would have
And
said,
you
like,
decided
played any instrument.
no, but I'm saying like
Oh, okay,
well, here's
sorry.
what I'm getting to. So you become the greatest rapper. You be the most insecure rapper because then from that point you'd be like, oh, well, when is it gonna go away? You know what I mean?
Oh,
Imagine you build a platform
that's
to where
deep.
you get like millions of followers and you're like, Kendrick Lamar level, and then boom, it goes away because
Yeah.
you sneezed.
Save that bread. Save
Yeah.
that bread. You
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
Save that bread.
Invest.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
guys
no,
off.
you're good.
No.
Did you talking about your favorite podcast?
Yeah, no, that was
That's it?
no. So I was just like, no, but I was like, that's kind of crazy. I like learning new stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I just love storytelling. I just love audio too. Like I'm a pretty big audio nerd. I've won, which is weird because I think I've won a couple of like production awards in college and stuff. And
Nice.
like,
Oh, nice.
I flew to New York to win with the Alliance of Women in Media. I won an award for my podcast. I did a podcast, my senior thesis. I looked around and I realized all my mentors were men. And like all my program directors, my
Right.
professors, I was like, you know what? I want like a woman's point of view, on the industry. So I interviewed like radio personalities and I won an award on that. I actually learned something great. I learned some good stuff too.
Teach us something.
One of them was worried about going on maternity leave because you're gone for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's someone else sitting in your seat for 3 months on a show. So it could be very scary if like, well, what if when I come back, they don't want me back? What if she does a really good job and they like her there,
right.
you know? So so she was like worried, and she was like, before she had to cut her maternity leave short because she didn't want to be gone too long. It's like, you know, she didn't want to get replaced. And, she had gotten advice from someone in a bigger market, in a bigger city. And, she actually got sponsors to get an ISDN line in her nursery. So she was doing the show from her nursery.
That is so tight.
So she didn't take any time, you know, so she would just do her show in the morning and, you know, with the baby and stuff, and people loved it. So I was like, well, let me put that one in my back pocket for, you know, one day when I decide to start a family.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you learn great things from seeing other people's journeys. So I actually won an award for that in New York, and I went to go pick it up, and I remember I was like, first time in New York, oh my gosh, okay, you guys, I'm gonna get out of Grand Central Station, and it's gonna be like Gossip Girl. It's gonna be like Sex in the City. And I had like a T-length dress, right? And I had to take the subway from Brooklyn to New York, and I was like, well, this isn't like Gossip Girl, but once I get into Grand Central Station, like, there's gonna be like fashion and couture. And I got out, and everyone looked like bums, and there was no fashion.
It looked more like Home Alone.
Yeah, I was like, there was no Sex in the City, no Carrie Bradshaw, no Gossip Girl.
There was no music playing,
and I was so disappointed. I was like, this isn't it, you know, like, where's the fashion? And so like, I was super disappointed. I remember, and I went outside, and I was like, this looks like a big LA, like, you know,
construction. Wow,
this is what all the hype's about. You know, we have to walk everywhere, like, and take the subway. And so it's so funny because I know so many people that love New York, and I'm just like, I was like,
do people in New York even own cars, or is it like
a lot of them don't, because there's kind of no point.
Yeah,
I don't know what the point would be.
I would imagine, because like here we got a whole driveway. Like in New York, everybody's doors next to each other.
I heard one thing in New York, you kind of stay in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? You don't really like go to other places. That's why like bars.
Is that why there's like grocery stores and random places?
Yeah.
Or like there's a pub and it's like looks like a regular house. You go in there.
Because that's that neighborhoods.
So it's not like Vegas where you have your neighborhoods.
Go everywhere.
you have your neighborhoods, but then you got to take the bus to get to like downtown where like all these little coffee shops and things are at. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess you could take the subway if you want to go places or you need to go places.
You've been in the subway, right?
Yeah, I had to take the subway.
What was that experience like? I heard stories.
I just didn't like, you know what? I didn't like that. I remember being at Central Park, and so I had this dress, right? So I won my award. It was a heavy ass award. And like we had set out this whole day with like, because my man came with me. I was like, okay, you're gonna meet me after the awards, and Central Park doesn't look that far, so we'll walk to Central Park and it'll be just like the movies, and we'll walk around Central Park and it'll be super cute.
Yeah.
Well, the reality of the situation was I was extremely annoyed after getting off the train at the subway, and it's hot and it's like summer, and you know, he meets me and I'm in heels, and I'm like, my feet hurt. Like, I don't know if I could do this, and this dress is tight. I can't breathe, and it's hot. And so like we went to like a store. I like bought new clothes, and then we walked to we finished the walk to Central Park. We finally got there, and I'm just like tired because I already had like one hell of a day. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, if I want to go home right now, if I want to be in a bed or get in a shower right now, I'm going to have to get on a 30-minute subway ride.
Oh shit!
Then
I didn't think of that.
Get off on the stop, then walk to where I'm staying.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like here where if you're at a club and you're like, I want to go home, I just get in my car, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes.
You could lay down in your car.
Yeah.
You could just straight up say, screw it, I'm gonna just roll the seat all the way back and just lay down.
But you could be home in you could get yourself home.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, now I'm in a city where I can't get myself home. I have to wait for a subway. I have to like find the right route or whatever, you know? And so I was just like, yeah, this isn't fun. This isn't like, why is this fun to
New York
people?
is completely ruined.
Yeah.
Like, you're just,
Well, it's kind of like when you watch all those sitcoms, like How I Met Your Mother. You're like, when do these people work?
yeah, it's just like, you know.
Why is everybody always at a bar?
Why are they always partying?
You're like, what? How come they don't talk about like who's gonna pay the like electric bill? You know, like
Yeah.
so it's funny because like every New York experience I had has been like.
Damn.
But yeah, so that was pretty funny. I laugh looking back at that now because
Dang.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like Gossip Girl, and then it wasn't.
Have you ever seen that meme where it shows like like the two brothers from on HGTV that sell the houses?
Property Brothers.
Property Brothers.
Yes,
those
I
guys.
love them.
Have you seen that meme where it shows like, hi, I homeschool, and then I'm also my husband's a
teacher.
A teacher. We have a budget of $745,000.
It's that TV magic. Just
how
like
does
the
that
radio
work?
magic.
I
TV
think it's
magic.
just about making the people friendly. Because if somebody was like, oh yeah, I'm a lawyer for. Well, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But if you're a school teacher, you're like, oh, okay, that's a dream right there.
Because me finding my house, I was like, oh, I like this house. I like this house. Every house I was looking at, I was like, oh, I like this house. Like them, they're like, oh, I don't really like that color. I was like, I'll live in any of these houses.
I'm thinking 45 years down the road, I'm not gonna like that turn anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I gotta make a left turn to go to the bathroom. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I can't. You know what? I'm kind of like living in Vegas. Like I kind of want to live in a hotel before I leave. I think.
You want to live in a hotel?
Yeah,
for a month? Or for like a day?
No, like live in the hotel. Well, you know,
Can
some
you
of the
do that?
hotels. Yeah, you could have residencies here. Like,
Not a hotel,
You could
like-
buy at the Palms.
Oh,
at
yeah, for sure.
Trump, at Cosmo, and at MGM Signatures. So you could like buy. You could like live there.
Okay,
Where, is it like a just you pay 6 months outright or how does that
No,
work?
you buy. It's just the way like you buy a house.
Oh.
You buy like one of the rooms there.
like a condo,
Yeah.
apartments
It's like a
kind
high
of thing.
rise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what
Yeah.
it is. I've seen those listed high rises, but they're ridiculously priced. Like, whoa.
They are kind of expensive.
Palms isn't too bad though, and they're pretty nice rooms.
I don't know, man. What are you talking about? $400,000 or $500,000
Yeah, I know, but that ain't
Yeah.
bad for like
to
high
live at
rise.
the Palms? I guess.
You know,
right.
like in New York, something like that would cost
Yeah.
you $10 million.
I can't afford a house in the hood. Let's not even talk about that right now. Yeah. Well, what's been one of your weirdest experiences as a DJ? Have you had any? Weird experience?
I think
Or radio host.
I think as a DJ, it's all about like getting like every place you play is different. The equipment's different. Getting used to that. But I mean, as a radio host, you'll just run into situations where you're just like, how am I supposed to react? Like I actually still have this audio. I was almost gonna email it to you, but the Chainsmokers had come by here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they were doing drops for us. So like, hey, it's the Chainsmokers, and you're listening to Nudia on the radio, you know?
Yeah.
And so the production guy's like, you need to listen to the drop that the Chainsmokers did for you. And I was like, okay. So like, it was Chainsmokers, and you're listening to Nudia. And I was paused, and they're like, what the fuck kind of name is that? And they start laughing.
Oh shit!
They're like, they both start laughing, right? And
Yo.
then one of them looks to the other guy's like, dude, like her mom named her that. Like, and they start clowning my name. And I'm just like,
Yo.
I told my mom, she was pissed. And she's like, excuse. So ever since I would have to play the Chainsmokers, I'm like,
Skip.
You just play that.
I'm like, here's the guys that made fun of my name, and I kept the audio,
Yeah.
and I still have it because one day if I ever need to use it, I have the receipts. Like, hey guys, hi, remember when you made fun of my name?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, cool. I have the audio right here. Let's listen to
That's
it.
a cool story though.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, what kind of name is Keem? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. If I was in that situation, I think the laughter that I would get from it would be like enough to like make me happy. Like, I'm not even salty. I think it's funny that it happened.
Yeah, I think I thought it was funny, but I just thought it was like I was a little salty because this is when they were first starting too. This is before, I feel like their big break was Paris with Halsey.
Yeah.
And so oh no, that's not
Selfie?
Paris. No.
Oh.
Selfie was kind of good. But I feel like the hit they did with Halsey was like their biggest.
The
like
one that's like pull me
really,
over in the
backseat of your Rover.
Yeah.
Na, na, na. We ain't never getting older.
These
And
kids
so
ain't got no Rover.
that song was huge, but it was before that one.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, these little selfie ass DJs making fun of my name.
Damn.
And I think I always tell this like celebrity, like embarrassing story. One time my girl had interviewed Taboo from the Black Eyed Peas. And so he's like, oh yeah, I'm DJing at Foundation Room tonight. Like, you guys should come. And so we go to Foundation Room, right? And he's DJing and we're sitting with his manager, like drinking, dancing. He's killing it. So he's like, has all the jams on. Your girl likes to dance. So I'm just like living my best life, dancing, like and then we're going to leave. So we go to say bye to him, right? And he hugs my friend. He goes to hug me. And there's like, we all know like where we start sweating first, right? So I know like it's on my back. And so like I go to hug, and I feel him going to hug me right where I know for sure I'm sweating. And like we're hugging and he's like, damn girl. He's like, your back is sweaty.
Damn girl.
He just straight up said it.
Your back is sweaty. And I was just like in my head, I was like, he's like, I like that shit.
Oh.
He's like, that means you were dancing. But in my head, I was like, I want to like die right now.
Oh.
Like he just realized I was like sweaty. I was like, well, I mean, he called me out on it. Like, I guess it is what it is. But that's definitely one of my stories where I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like,
at least he said though, I knew you were dancing. You know what I mean?
he's like, that means you were dancing. He's like, that means you were dancing. And I was like, okay.
See, I like those kind of stories though, because then it's like, you could tell them to other people later.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's just, there's something about funny, like awkward stories sometimes where I'm like, oh, that's tight.
Yeah.
I don't get like embarrassed, but I'm like, oh, that was tight. Yeah. I've ripped my pants. I do a lot of like weddings and things like that. And I've ripped my pants at a wedding before.
Really?
Yeah.
I know someone who ripped their pants.
And it's like, it sucks when you're the guy that's supposed to be filming everything, and then you get that to like a low angle, and then you hear like you don't even see it, but you feel it. Like, yep.
You feel that air hitting your leg.
Well,
like, whoa.
I know one of my friends who will not be named, but is a creative here in town, working a venue here in town, and he went to take a picture and he ripped his pants. And he wasn't wearing any underwear.
Oh, damn.
And the whole thing, like the whole...
Damn.
He's going to kill me if he watches this.
That's crazy. Like, would you get public indecency for that?
I don't know.
Like,
if there was a cop around, you probably
Well,
could.
I was pulling up, of course, like a girl. I was lying, and I said I was already walking in, but I was just parking. And he's like, you need to get to your car, and you need to come get me, like right now.
Whoa.
Like, and so I was like,
There's like a few
okay.
times where you have
and
that
he's
emergency.
like, first of all, you're a liar because you said you were inside already. And I was like, well, weren't you happy I was in my car? And so like at first, he was running to my car like, with his sweater, and I thought he had like peed his pants because like he was obviously covering the way he was walking weird. He was covering it. Like I was like, damn, did this dude like shit his pants?
Don't get in my car.
Like,
I'm not driving you anywhere.
Like, what happened? And he's like,
yo,
my pants ripped. Look, and I saw everything, and I was just like, bro, like they were shredded. And I was
damn.
like,
Damn, what'd he do?
What was he doing?
Twerking.
Yo, he was getting that shot.
Let's get something else. You gotta have our own segment on this show, bro. At one time, you poop your pants. Oh my god,
crazy.
that's the stuff that life is made out of, though, man. I
Yeah.
like those stories.
Yeah, I think
a good time.
the funny thing is that I think there's a couple, like a lot of the things that I've done. Like I was also a clipper girl, and we had to do this whole training on like not like acknowledging celebrities, and it's like, so I'm used to celebrities, and then I met Miguel. Do you guys remember Miguel?
Yeah.
Okay, so like randomest thing. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna take a picture with Miguel, and then he just looked at me and he said hi, and it was the most like seductive thing I've ever heard in my life. Like he literally
damn.
just said hi, and I was like, I was like, what? You know, it's like some people, it's crazy, like this star power that some people have. They just have this like charisma about them.
Did he say it in falsetto? Is that why?
No, he was just like, oh, hi. And I was
damn.
Like,
you got me already.
Goosebumps.
I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting this, Miguel. Like,
It's also just R&B artists in general. You know, you see them on the screen doing their thing, and you've already got this like fascination in your head about it, you know? So it's like,
well, I wasn't even tripping. I was just like, okay, Miguel, like, and then I was just like, man, I was like, who thought I'd be like, you know, like all in like the heart eye emojis over Miguel. So I think celebrity stories are always the funniest. And then of course you hear some like, I feel like sometimes like some people are disappointed. You'll hear like disappointing stories about someone you really like, you know?
Oh, like, this person was a jerk or something like that?
Yeah, sometimes people are rude. But honestly, I've had like really good experiences with everyone.
Have you had anybody that you went in going like, oh, I'm not sure how this person's gonna be, and then they surprise you and they're like in a good way, like, oh damn, they were really cool.
I interviewed Chloe Grace Moretz.
Okay.
So she's in 500 Days of Summer. She was in Kick-Ass. She was.
I know who that is. Yeah, the white girl.
What else? Yeah. I don't know.
White girl. The white girl.
You got a name like Chloe. You going
very rare in Hollywood, as we all know. And so, like, everyone told me that she was gonna be a bitch.
Really?
They're like, you know, I like just had heard all these things, and so I remember I was just like worried. I was like, didn't want to bring that out of her. So I was just like, but she had stopped by the station because I think Hillary Clinton was coming to town, and she was like supporting Hillary Clinton and coming by the station. Yeah. And so she was actually fine. She was like cool. But I remember I was just like, you know, like I felt like there's like a dragon sitting in front of me, and I didn't want to like, but she was super sweet to me. So luckily I haven't had any bad encounters. I haven't had any bad things happen. It's all been funny. It's all been like good stuff.
I actually think it's a good thing when somebody sets an expectation, because then it's like movies. Like I love when people say like, this movie's terrible, it's the worst movie ever, and then I watch it and I'm like, that was pretty good. You know what I mean?
Because like, you were already expecting like the worst movie ever. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I kind of feel like there are some people who have that power, that, like you said, star power, and then they end up being kind of like maybe not intentional, but just because of the way they are, they kind of come off as an asshole.
Well, like introvert. Like maybe they're introverted. Maybe they're just not good at talking.
Yeah, and then it leaves you to interpret the you know how they are, like, you know, and it's maybe not accurate, but yeah. Yeah,
that's why I never really judge somebody like right away.
Yeah.
Like I try not to.
I don't know though.
I'll be like, fuck.
I don't know though.
Do you judge me?
Oh no, definitely not. Well, yeah,
the first thing we saw was a smile, so it was 100%.
I think you have to judge everybody. Technically, like that's how you survive. But
she walked in here. Sure. She walked in here and was like, "This is not a studio."
Yeah. No, she came in with a big smile. So I was like, oh.
Honestly, I thought this was like in someone's basement or something.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
Like I was actually wondering where this was in y'all's house.
It's funny because we actually do get a basement.
Do you really?
That's my room.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's an old house.
We also have a pool. And it turns on. They got lights on it.
Little LED lights.
Really?
Summer parties when you're cracking.
Schmood lighting in here. You guys ready? Y'all
we're trying to be like Miguel, man.
You put some Miguel on real quick.
We got Alexis in the house. Just gotta tell her to play. Yeah, try to play Miguel.
I thought she was gonna turn on.
If you weren't doing radio, what do you think you would see yourself doing?
Oh my gosh! If I wasn't or
telemarketing, no.
Cold calling.
When I was little, I wanted to be a herpetologist.
A what?
A herpetologist.
Herpetologist?
Yeah, so I used to watch like Animal Planet when I was little. And so I was obsessed with the people that would like be in the jungles of Costa Rica and just like,
that's what they're called?
They're like, this caterpillar is a, you know, blah, blah, you know.
The Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, basically, there's a few others, but he's probably the most infamous one. But you know, they know about species and plants and like the environment, and so, I mean, I don't know how that would have worked out for me.
Yeah.
Wait, can you touch bugs? Like, can you touch a spider and you can pick up spiders and stuff, or
you can pick up anything?
No, can you?
Can I?
Oh. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what's funny? I've had lots of like incidents. I've been like in the boyfriend situation. I've been the one to like actually take the bug out of the house where like my boyfriend wanted to kill it. I was like,
Yeah.
it's a grasshopper. Like, can you hold on for 5 seconds? Let me get it out of here. I'm not really scared of bugs.
I can't.
The only thing.
What's the do you have a fascination with like snakes?
No. Why?
Because I feel like that's a thing that I'm seeing more of now. Like I'm seeing a lot of girls on Instagram like taking photos with like an exotic snake wrapped around their neck.
Tarantulas,
and it's like a trend, and it's like, ooh.
They're letting like the spider go inside in the mouth and outside the mouth. I'm like I'm not scared of tarantulas. You know what I mean? But I think if I woke up with one.
You just said you didn't want to like. You don't get bugs out of your house. You said you're freaked out by bugs.
Yeah,
of course you're scared of a tarantula.
Yeah, I think like when I just see them, like when somebody's like they're not wild, it's trained. I'm like, oh, okay, like I can hold it there. But then like if there was one in the wild, I'd freak out.
No, that's people who have lions as pets. Oh no, I've had him since he was 3 months.
How do you train a spider though? Like I feel like
I don't know because I've seen people who have like spiders and they're like crawling on them and they let them in their shirt. Yeah,
they'll put them in like they're like going inside the mouth, and I'm like they'll close their mouth and they'll just be like crawling inside the mouth.
I don't know about all that.
Open up the mouth and like all these spiders come out. I'm like, all right.
So I didn't want to be that.
Okay. But you for sure can.
I'm totally cool. I'm totally cool with like bugs and stuff. But like I don't know how I would have done with like creatures. Like I think I saw like a raccoon once, and I was just like, it's a raccoon.
They're just ferocious.
That thing's
that's
big.
What
like they're big, kind of.
When you have an animal that's the size of a raccoon, which is what like that big maybe, right? And then they're fast. That scares me.
Really?
That's like imagine you see a cockroach that can fly.
Oh no.
Ooh, no.
Well, and they have like thumbs.
Yeah, thumbs?
Wait, the cockroaches?
No.
Oh shit.
Raccoons.
Want to check out right now? Yeah, raccoons have thumbs. Like opposable? Like
they have like hands. They have like little hands.
So weird.
They are pretty ferocious too. Like that's the one thing.
Yeah, I don't know how we got on that conversation.
Oh, because you wanted to be a
herpetologist. Well, that's what I wanted to be when I was younger. I think if I wasn't doing radio or DJing or anything in audio or music, I think I would have been good at some type of marketing or something.
Sales.
Yeah.
I hate sales, but I'm like really good at it. And so it's just kind of that thing.
It'd be one of those people making millions a year. Just like another day. Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Like killing it.
Being a radio personality, do you ever have friends that text you and go like, "Oh, can you play this song?"
A lot of people will call me and they'll like ask for random songs. I think the biggest thing also is that people think that I could put their song on the radio.
Like local artists? Like local artists and
like
stuff?
a lot of local artists who I've like tried to give advice to and so
we're gonna go ahead and make this its own video.
Yeah, please.
But it's just like, I think that's the biggest thing is that people think that I'm in full control of what's played and I'm in full control of what gets played. And it's like, look, there's rules. There's rules to this. I can't just put any song on the radio, like I don't have that power.
What do you mean, Nudia? You follow me on Twitter. Are you acting brand new? What do you mean you can't play my single?
Real quick though, if you had the money, could you pay the radio station to play that track? Or is there big?
How does that work?
Well, that is referred to as payola and plugola, and those are illegal.
Oh damn!
But it is in the sense of for us to play your song like it's in rotation. So if you had a song called "What's Up" and it's like you hear Cardi B and then you hear your song "What's Up" and then you hear the next song, it sounds like it's in rotation, and you paid me, that's illegal. Or if you're like, hey, I have a flower t-shirt business, could you just give hide an ad in there? And I'm just like, hey, like my friend has this flower t-shirt business, his website's blah blah blah, but you paid me like on the down low, like that's plugola. But
plugola.
I guess if you wanted to pay the radio station, you could technically buy a commercial.
Yeah,
and where you
ads.
you promote your song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So there's things like that, but yeah, the radio industry is pretty interesting and but it's all, we have program directors, we have bosses who program the station, who decide, you know, what songs get played and what songs don't. And, you know, of course.
So you already have like a set list to pick from when you go into work, or like to, you know, make your playlist or whatever. You can't just go, oh shit, I heard this new Red Hot Chili Pepper song last night.
Yeah.
I'm going to play that. You can't do that.
Yeah, no. It's programmed.
Okay.
I could, like, you know, if I hear a song, I'm just like, hey, boss, like, when are we going to play that like new Chainsmokers song? I heard it and I liked it, you know? And but pretty much it's just like, you know, your TV, like it's already programmed when you go in there.
Is that why you enjoy DJing, like actual disc
you know
jocking,
what, it's kind of a big contrast, because in one sense, like when I go into the radio station, I have no control,
binary,
over what gets played. And then when I DJ, now I have complete control. So it's the balance. It's really weird, because then like you ask me, I'm just like, what am I gonna play? Like I could play what I think I should play, you know. But luckily, I think like music selection and music choice and working in radio helps me, like, you know what people like. Yeah. And then DJing, it all kind of like flows together really nice, you know. And I love music, you know, and I love all types of music, but I've always been a sucker for like shallow dance pop music, you know, like I just love like just all the girly shit, you know. So
is that what you're going to be throwing down at Cricket's Playhouse?
What? You know what? It is Valentine's Day, so I think we're going to get in our feels and then maybe get out of our feels, you know? So
so if you're a local artist, you can hit up Nudia. She'll play your song there.
By email.
Maybe. Yeah.
So that's kind of funny.
And one last thing, as a DJ, do you like taking requests?
You know, I'm still like a new DJ, so requests help me a lot.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
They do, because if I'm at a party and maybe it's going okay, like maybe this person that's gives me this song, it's happened before, like, because again, I've since I haven't even been DJing like publicly, like booking gigs for like not even like a year now. So I've done like weddings, I've done corporate events, I've done, you know, like bars, I've done all types of stuff. And so like sometimes when I do get a request, it'll really like get the room going, and then it helps me, like it's just like, okay. But I can see to where requests could be really annoying if someone, like if you're a DJ and you're on your flow and you're in it. I could see how it's like really annoying, because it's like
you're playing hip hop and then they ask for like Barbie.
Yeah, it's it's like if they ask for something, you're like, how am I gonna get there? Yeah, like I'm playing like I'm 2 Chainz right now.
You're at 140, like
it's like what are we gonna like? That's a whole different mood you're going into, you know, like so I could see to where it's like why someone wouldn't play requests or something. But I'm still pretty like
no, that's cool though. Definitely keep an open mind. I just I'd let people know, like, just let the DJ. That's his job.
Yeah,
like, that's her job. Let her do her thing.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because before I actually started like DJ, I knew a lot of DJs, so like I would go to their gigs with them, and you know, you're kind of that they're doing something over there. Like you're like, I know you're like working. Yeah. I don't really know what you're doing, but I know you're busy. And then when you start DJing, you're just like, yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Like it's you're like thinking 5-10 songs ahead of like what you're actually playing, and like reading the crowd and stuff like that. So it's super fun though. You know, I think like no matter what you do, if you could have fun and make a paycheck, it's always like a winning. Good day. Yeah,
100%. Sure. Do you working in radio? I would say, just as somebody who listens to radio, do you think there's been a push or like a quote unquote interruption? Has radio been interrupted by things like podcasting, things like, you know, Spotify, you can Spotify, like has like what's your take on that, and how do you think radio's like fighting to you know, fight, you know, stay on top?
I think it's always been, I think for radio, it's always been like the ceiling's going to collapse, like the sky's falling forever, because you have to remember radio was the original TV. Radio was it was the original medium for entertainment, media, and news. And then we got TV, and then we got the internet. And then it's like, oh, radio's for sure gonna die, you know, like when TV came out, and then the internet, and then, you know, Instagram, and then, you know, now we have social media and streaming now. So it's like, if you want to hear new music, you could listen to Spotify in your car. You don't need to turn on the radio anymore to hear music. Like, so there's been definitely a hit, you know, as opposed to like before. But the biggest thing I think is that I feel like radio has used some of these things to its advantage. Like radio has gotten in on the social media game, you know, like the stations have sites and we're trying to deliver content. And it's like, the way I see it is that we could use these things to like help us. Right. You know, because the thing about radio that's never going to change is that, one, it's in your car. So guess what? If your phone dies, boom, we got you. We got you, you know? But it's also one of those things as to where it's like, if you're on Instagram and I post on behalf of the radio station, I'm giving away Travis Scott tickets, and you're on Instagram and I'm like, hey, we're giving away Travis Scott tickets in 10 minutes. And you're like, well, let me like try to win these Travis Scott tickets. Like, I want to go, you know? Right. So I think like we could use these things to make radio better, and it's definitely it's made us had to be smarter about certain things. I like for that. Sure. It's definitely like, you'll hear about the old radio days, you know, like, and so it's definitely like a little bit sad. Also, like, radio personalities were the original like influencers, you know. They really were.
Yeah, they were 100%. Yeah, so before social media came up,
we were the ones doing the interviews. We were the ones trying products and telling you what products to use. And like, we were the ones getting the sponsorships. We still do sometimes, but we've also, like, you know, like the Breakfast Club, they put up interviews, like it's like millions of views, you know, like they'll put up their interview with like Tekashi 6ix9ine, and so
that's why I like what AD's doing. You know, with the little interviews and the YouTube and everything like that. I think things like that do help, because sometimes maybe you miss an interview. Where are you gonna go watch it afterwards? You know what I mean? Like, so I think 100% using.
I love AD. He's super creative dude, and I think that, you know, like the biggest thing that radio has going for us is that like we are in Las Vegas. We're like hyper local. That's the way I like to say, like, it's hyper local. We could like key into what's going on in our community and the culture here. And it, like, again, when I moved here, I didn't realize that Vegas had like, there's like culture here, you know, there's events. It may not be the biggest city, but we're like still getting together, and we're still growing, building we're building a community, you know, like there's people out here that like, we are our own like network, and we're supporting each other. And so that's really awesome. And that's not something like I thought I was going to encounter here. You know, I just thought like there's people partying on the strip. So yeah, definitely. I feel like we could use these mediums to help radio. It's definitely not like the only media source like it used to be. Right. But yeah, so I know a lot of people, and that's the thing, is that like when I was getting out of college and you tell people what you want to do, I remember a lot of people were like, well, isn't like radio dead? You know, like, oh, isn't that going to be hard? There's really not that many jobs, you know? And then you do it, and you actually, like, there's so many people that have been like, wow, like you really did it. Like you said you were going to do it, and you did it. And I'm like, yeah, because if there's nothing holding you back, like you could do whatever you want to do. You know, if you want to be a scuba diving instructor right now, you could do it, you know? So it's
you can find a career in anything.
Yeah. So it's like, whatever you want to do, like do it. And then I always tell people, like, I've gone back to my college to speak, and like the biggest thing, that's tight. Because I like to go, because I remember when I was there, like some of the speakers helped me out, but I remember, you know, like making moves, but like I wasn't good yet, you know, like I was still pretty green. But I never thought, if I had stopped and thought like, hey, am I like good? Like I probably wouldn't be here, because I was just like I just wanted to get on a mic somewhere. I was hungry for it, you know? Yeah. So like, it's like, don't think about whether you're good enough or not. Just make moves like you are, and like be positive and persistent, and like you can make anything happen, you know?
That's some solid advice right there.
I know.
How would you say, losing my voice there, How would you say being
Agua.
There you go. I gotta get the alkaline.
Yeah, get that alkaline, bro.
Alkaline.
How would you say that being a radio personality DJ has affected your life? Like in terms of moving from place to place, is that something you also look forward to? Like how do you do you think it's encouraging your lifestyle, like to be a DJ where you can be mobile and go from one place to another? Because I don't know, I was thinking about like, what if you did get married? What if you have like kids? You know, like and then like now you got to go to New York. Like how does that work? You know,
I do think. Well, the funny thing, I said I was engaged when I got here. I'm no longer engaged.
Boom.
So, but again, I feel like you find yourself through these experiences. Like coming to Vegas, I grew up. I became a big girl. I got my own place, paid my own bills, and started working on my career, you know? And so, unfortunately, especially I feel like a lot of males and females, you'll like see this, like they aren't really settled down yet. You know, a lot of DJs that, you know, probably like don't have like the white picket fence and the marriage yet. And so, I think like it affects your lifestyle because it's a lifestyle, you know? Like a lot of my week, there's like PR events that I'm going to around town, you know, like radio shows, radio gigs, concerts, you know, if I'm playing a DJ
This
gig.
is nonstop.
Yeah.
hustle.
So you're busy and it's a social lifestyle. And there's not a lot of people that understand that. Like if you're trying to get into a relationship,
right.
Very few people will be like, oh, I totally understand why you need to be out all day during the week.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I understand why you need to go to this party and the drinks are free. And, you know, so it's like a whole lifestyle. And I think the biggest thing for me is that it's just like, if you don't have your own shit figured out, like you're not going to bring other people into it. Like, you know, like I'm still building myself. I'm still building my equity and my net worth and, you know, myself as a talent and as a brand. It's like, if I was to like get married or have a kid, it's like, I don't even have my own stuff figured out, you know?
Right.
But I think like eventually, like once you get to a certain point, it will get easier. Well, hopefully, you know, I don't know, but I've seen it work for other people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We can balance it all out and everything.
Yeah, you gotta know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself and you're put in a situation where you kind of have to make a decision, like that, it can be kind of hard.
But I feel like that's creatives in general. Like I feel like a lot of us like like we don't. It takes us like longer to settle down because
we don't know where we're.
There's so much going on in your head. You're like. You could.
I'm trying to build an empire. What you talking about? I don't got time for kids.
What if National Geographic's like, yo, bro, can you take pictures of lions in Africa for 6 months? We'll pay you like fucking $80K, you know?
Okay.
It's like, right? So it's like you could get a call at any time that'll take you anywhere. So it's like.
I'll take that right there, man. $80K for 6 months?
Oh, yeah.
I'm dropping everything. Goodbye morning dinner.
You'll have the most fun morning dinner.
Goodbye morning dinner.
Like,
We take you on the road.
Hi, Nudia, the new host of Morning Dinner.
That salary is more than enough for you and me, bro. Let's go.
So down.
Is there something about radio that people wouldn't know? Are there any like hidden industry secrets?
You know what? I think the funniest thing that people would. The funniest thing for me too, like when I was interning was that when I walked in the station, you know, like you can't cuss on the radio, but you walk around the station and you'll hear every word in the book.
Yeah.
You hear some person, fuck, like, where's my paper? You know, like, are you fucking kidding me? And so people are just like, people have horrible mouths. We say whatever. And so also it's super like cool because we have like jock meetings every week. So it's like everyone in one room and we're all personalities. Yeah. So it's just funny to see like the whole room gets so loud because everyone loves talking. Yeah. And we're all talking.
Everybody loves talking.
That's the thing about radio people too, is that we could talk. So like once I know I head into that building, it's gonna be a minute before I get out because you start talking to this person. So like everyone has personality and is like talkative. And so I think that's the funniest thing that I learned when I walked in because I didn't think about it. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, to be a personality, you have personality and you like to talk. Yeah. So it's just funny to see all these different people run around, you know?
Yeah.
And I would say like, because I want to ask you on this, like if you have a long day and you're tired, how do you bring that personality out?
You know what?
And does it feel weird? Does
That's
it
a good
damage
question.
you? You know what I mean?
It's so funny because I think I almost emailed you about this too. I was like, there's a time last year where I was like super low point in my life. Like I had like gotten let go from a station. I was going through a breakup, and I like at the same time, and I got hired at KLUC, and oh my gosh, it was just super, super crazy. And it was like a pretty low point for me where like sometimes you question, you're like, what am I doing with my life? Like, where is this? Should I just like work at Walgreens? You know, like what is the point? You know, we get super existential and stuff. And it was a tough point in my life. And I remember like, you know, those things are like, sometimes it's hard for you to like get out of bed. And I'm a super happy person. That's never happened to me before. And so I was like, you know, like, and you like have to push yourself, get yourself to the station and put a smile on your face and sound happy, because no one wants to hear you sad on the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like no one wants to hear that. Like, so I remember, there's a couple breaks that I did and I was super heartbroken. And I remember like it was hard for me to smile. And I remember like while I was doing it, after I did it, I'd be like, yo, like you're gonna do this because you aren't gonna sound sad on the radio, because that's boring. You know, what are you gonna do? Be like, so I've got Taylor Swift tickets coming up. You know, in 5 minutes, here's Alessia Cara on KLUC. You know, it's just like, no, you're not gonna do that. You're like, look, you're gonna fake it till you make it. All right.
Yeah.
So
you gotta have that natural high.
Yeah. So you have to push yourself. You're having a bad day. If you're not feeling good, if you're blah, 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 you know what? You open the mic, you talk for 20 seconds. You talk for 20, you could fake it for 20, 30 seconds. And then you could go back to being sad after, you know? So that's true. That's so funny.
I was gonna say, do you have any like secrets to like bringing that personality, that hype out? Because for me, it's like a Red Bull. I take a Red Bull. I don't care how tired I am.
You know, I don't take energy drinks, and I don't drink coffee either.
Wait, you don't drink coffee? Period.
No, I hate coffee.
So no caffeine.
What?
Tastes like dirty water.
What about any type of caffeine?
I don't.
Tea?
You know what? My family did a great thing. My mom always told me, she told me I was allergic to cigarettes. And so I never tried cigarettes. And then,
good call.
She told me soda wasn't meant for me. That it was an adult drink. So I didn't grow up drinking soda. And then my grandma was like addicted to coffee. So I always just thought it was weird. I was never big on caffeine.
Dang. So you don't have any caffeine in your body right
caffeine,
now?
No.
That's so good for you too.
No. So like I don't know. Like if I was to take like coffee and a Red Bull and drink some soda, I don't know what the fuck would happen. I'd probably start bouncing off the walls.
Watch you go in reverse. You're like, hey, everybody. Like you're monotone now. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. So like I think like I don't know. I've just been like, this is how I am. But a lot of people like have just been like, how are you so like happy all the time? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I love life and people, you know, so it's kind of like a natural thing.
Are you completely against like drinking like coffee? Like let's say I was like, hey Nudia, try my coffee real quick. No. You would say no?
I mean, maybe if I was trying to be nice, I'd drink it, but I wouldn't like it, you know?
Really?
No.
Wait, have you tried it before though? Or did you just...
You know, I tried it. I actually Instagram storied when I tried it. And because my sister had come to visit me and I had taken her out that whole week and I was filling in on a sports station and I had to be there at 4 a.m. And we had gone to Cricket's Playhouse the night before. And so I got like half an hour of sleep and I was like, yo, this is boring. Like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna fall asleep right in this chair. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drink. They all drink coffee. I see everyone drinking coffee
at the station.
So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have some coffee. And then like I Instagram storied it. I was like, this is my first time drinking coffee.
Was
and
it
I was
straight
like,
black? Or did you put creamer?
I don't know what it was. Oh, they tried to put some creamer and some sugar. It was gross.
Really?
Yeah, beet juice.
I get where she's coming from. Because I used to always see like my grandma drinking coffee too, and I would try to drink from it, and I was like, "Oh, this is like this stale flavor. Like, there's nothing sweet about it." Like, but I think like as the older I got, the more I started realizing it helps.
Yeah, it does help me.
Because like sometimes I'm just tired, but just a little bit of coffee, we're like, and the taste is not. It's kind of like alcohol, you know what I mean? Like
we don't drink it. Yeah,
we don't drink, or people don't drink alcohol because like, oh, I can't wait to try some new. You know, it's like you want to get messed up. You know? So it's like, I mean, I don't drink anymore, but you know.
Yeah.
Other people.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, I do. If you want to send me a bottle, y'all know where I'm at. Station address.
There you go.
Link the station address below.
Any
P.O. box
or something? Tequila.
Vodka.
Yeah, me too.
Vodka.
I'm a vodka person.
Vodka person for
vodka,
sure.
soda, water, and lemon.
How about whiskey?
I mean, honestly, you put anything in front of me, I'll drink it. Like, if it's free, it's for me. You know what I'm saying? But
that's a good tagline. If it's free, it's for me.
It's for me. So that's how I feel all the time. So what were we talking about? Coffee or advice to be hyped or excited?
Yeah. Do you just naturally have that persona? You're like, just snap your fingers and you're like good to go. I'm
usually pretty like upbeat. If I'm like feeling down. Like you just kind of know you need to turn it on, you know?
Yeah.
You're like, all right,
that's a really good
let's turn it on. You know, we gotta get it going. So, cause I mean, of course there's times where I'm tired or I'm not feeling it or I'm just like, but it's like, yo, you gotta keep going. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
So
can't let life get you down like that.
No, or you need to get this bread, you know? Get this bread.
Are you currently Netflix binging anything or do you even do Netflix?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I know myself and I know not to do Netflix, but I have Hulu and then my mom's like, I have a Netflix account. And so I have all these things where I can binge watch.
You have access to them.
I never binge watch because I'm like, no, I know myself. I'm going to put on, like, I've never seen Game of Thrones, put on one episode and then
watch
like
the whole thing.
You know, I'm going to be there for like 4 days.
Yeah.
So I never do it. Then the other night I had a night off and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to order some thin crust pizza. Okay.
Some thin crust.
Yeah. Yo, and I'm going to eat the whole thing by myself. Okay.
Let's get some thin crust pizza after this.
It's going to be me, my couch, and my cats. And I'm going to watch usually I just go to true crime. Yeah. Because I could get myself out of that hole quick. Yeah. You know, you just watch one episode, then you're good. So I was like, oh, I'm going to watch some true crime. And then that Netflix series You had come on.
Yo, yes.
Okay, so
she's on it.
I was like, you know what? I had wanted to watch it because the trailer was really interesting on Netflix. You know, he's talking to you, he's creepy. I was like, and he's from Gossip Girl.
I didn't know that.
He's from Gossip Girl.
I didn't know that.
So I was like, I like this guy, and I saw people posting about it, and I was like, you know what? It's gonna hurt. I'm just gonna watch one episode.
Nope.
5 a.m. 10 episodes later.
Well, you watched the whole thing in one sitting?
The whole thing in one sitting. And the reason why I stayed in that night was because I was like, if I go out, your girl likes to drink, your girl likes to dance, I'm going to be out all night. And then I'm going to like wake up late tomorrow. It's going to be an unproductive day.
Yeah.
So I stayed in because I didn't want to go out because I didn't want to go to sleep late. And you know what happened? I went to sleep even later than I would have. 5 a.m.
And it's funny too because like you get in those binges and you're falling asleep, but you're like, I'm gonna stay up and watch this last episode.
It's always like the last 5-7 minutes of the show that you're like, oh hell no, how is he gonna get out of the situation? You know what I mean?
You're like, God damn it.
You're like the whole show. Maybe it was a good show. It was a good episode, but those last 5 minutes, you're like,
always.
Yeah, I gotta watch the next, and then you're like, maybe I'll only watch half. I'll only watch half.
It's like,
so that's why that's the only thing I've ever binge watched because I know myself. I will sit there and I've always been proud to be like, I never binge watch anything. I'm not gonna sit there for hours like y'all. And I sat there and I watched.
So what do you think of it?
It was so good.
Yes,
it was so good.
I can't wait for season 2.
Me either. I need season 2. And then it stopped and I was like, what the? And so I was just like, so that's what I binge watch. That's the only show I've binge watched so far.
Nice.
I haven't started Game of Thrones though.
You haven't started Game of Thrones?
I've never watched it. So I think like once I get there, I'm probably going to have no life.
Yeah, I feel like you should.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either. I'm waiting.
He's waiting for it to be done.
So I haven't watched that or The Walking Dead so I haven't done any of those things yet because I'm like scared. I'm scared I'm going to go in that
binge watch
cycle.
it. Yeah, sorry.
So are you going to?
My core thing came down.
No, I'm just wondering like what's going on under that table.
Technical difficulties behind the scenes.
That must look terrible.
Oh my god. Nah, I don't know. No spoilers, but like you could skip. you could skip Walking Dead.
Like the first few seasons,
It got me. No,
good.
the first 3 seasons are some of the best TV I've ever seen. Like,
It's
like
just boring.
It's just so dope. Like the cosmetics, the acting, the casting, everything was dope, man. But then it's like I don't know, just
Same thing over and over.
It's like crypto. It goes up, and then it just flatlines for a while, and it just never goes back up to its all-time high. I mean, I thought it was gonna go back up. I thought it was gonna go back up this last season. Because they just started. Are you gonna watch it, or can I spoil it? Can I spoil it for you?
Don't spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it. Yeah, well, someone's listening.
Okay, well then I'll just say that there was a part where I was like, okay, damn, they're gonna change the game with this show. Like everybody thought it was downhill. Like, nah, they're gonna introduce a new concept to the whole thing. Nope, it was a lie.
Oh, that's stupid.
So that sucks.
That's good to know, though.
But yeah.
Just 3 seasons. That's it.
I think that kind of wraps up the podcast here.
Yeah, sorry, I need to post on Instagram.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
She's like, I gotta go to work right now. All right, so real quick, where can people find you online if they want to hit you up and kind of like start a conversation?
Well, my Venmo is $.
That was perfect.
You know what's so funny
Damn, that's the
is
first
that
time.
if you could like put this on your story or anything, like I wanted to make a meme because this one guy.
You got 10 seconds.
He found me. Oh, do I really have 10 seconds?
No.
Oh my gosh, you scared me. Okay, so he found me on an app, and then he added me on Facebook. I ignored him. He added me on Instagram. I ignored him. He added me on Twitter. I ignored him. And then this dude added me on Venmo, and I was like, "Oh, what's your name? What's your name?" Real quick?
Yeah, what do you want?
Now I'm interested. Now you've piqued my curiosity. Add me on Venmo.
Who adds anybody on Venmo? Like
That's a new app. Instead of like, it's like a sugar baby app.
Sugar-
and you just
sugar daddy.
The only way you can talk to somebody is if you give them a certain amount. They're like, my talking amount is $5.
I want to switch that camera angle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, yo, add me on Venmo so I know it's real. Okay, like it's just
Venmo or Cash App.
I'll hear it.
But Venmo, honestly, Venmo is kind of dangerous because Venmo has a feed, so you can see what people are paying other people. You know
that's why I
what I'm
put
saying?
mine on private.
it. Yeah, I put mine on,
Do you
private.
really?
Yeah.
So
Mine
no
is-
matter how much I send them, it just says Keen paid Chuck.
Mine's all out there. You'll see my tan girl. I'm like, thanks, girl.
Or I just pay somebody and I put Pornhub and they're like, God damn it.
Oh, you know what? I see that all the time.
Yeah.
Like I see like random stuff.
They're like, God damn it.
Yeah, no, I put mine on private because anybody can put anything. I'm tired of that.
Because I'll do that.
I found myself in the hole.
So my my ats, okay, at Nudia on air on Instagram and Twitter, NUDIA on air.
Boom.
And then if you really want to find me on Facebook, I guess I'm not that interesting though, but you can find me on there, I'm sure.
I found you on Facebook.
You just put Nudia, and I'm like one of the only people that pops up. So
That's kind of cool though about your name, your name, and how unique it is. I was
I love your
thinking,
neck.
I was thinking name and unique, and I said neck.
I was just gonna say, I usually tell people they can call me Nudie because I
Nudie.
feel like it's a little easier, you know. Nudie, nudes, nude. I'll reply to any of that.
Hey,
Nudes.
Nudie, send me nudes.
Yeah, if you're like
Well,
nudes.
was there any inspiration behind that name, or was it just Nudia?
It was actually so my mom said I never really asked, and then my mom told me that it was my dad's ex-girlfriend's name.
Ooh.
And she had liked it. She had liked her name, so she named me Nudia.
Oh, damn.
So I don't know where it comes from. I don't know, like anything. I tried
Damn.
to Google. I was like, what does the name Nudia mean? And
Yeah.
like nothing came up on Google.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll just make up stories and tell people. They're
Yeah.
like, what's your name mean? Like, it means golden rush treasure. You know, it's just like, I'll just like start
that's
making
tight.
up stuff. I'll be like in Tibet, in Russian, or I'll just like start like, yeah. So that's
Well,
that.
I'll tell you how I got my name, Keem. It was an accident. Mom was trying to name me King, King, like a rey, and she couldn't speak Spanish. She couldn't speak English
It's so
yet.
adorable.
She couldn't speak English. So when the doctor
No, are
had
you
her,
serious?
she said King. And so then the doctor named me Keem.
When he sent me a text, or he showed me a text his mom sent him, and it said "baby shower."
Look, my mom's Mexican.
That's so cute.
There's a lot of these, but the way they text sometimes, it makes my day.
Yeah, like my mom's
It makes
Asian,
sense.
so she says like her L's and R's switch, so she's like,
Shower-
she's
shower?
like, you work at Sapphire Club. Like, I'm like, what, mom? If she says refrigerator, yeah, I'm like, whoa, do they really
so
do that?
Cute, so cute.
Aw.
Shout out to moms everywhere.
I know.
Go buy your mom a flower for Mother's Day. Stop.
It's Valentine's, bro.
Huh?
Are you just saying for Mother's Day in general?
Oh, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Oops. There we go. That's a good place to stop.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next morning dinner.
Bye.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.